Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is your days are numbered. I was just at a coffee shop this afternoon. I had gone over to the city that I used to live in to do some follow-up doctoring. Like I worked a short day this morning, drove over to the city, an hour and a half drive. It's so cumbersome to change medical stuff, so I just kind of keep, and especially since I don't need to do much, right? It's just this occasional once or twice a year checks that I do, so I just keep going back to where I normally go, and I did that. It was just a blood draw, and I'll get results later. Then after that, I went out for lunch at a nice place that I always loved over there, which is nice. This is the city where my kids are, but now they were too busy to see, so I wanted to at least, taking blood doesn't take very long, right? Hour and a half drive for a 5-minute blood draw. But anyway, had a nice lunch. I went to a nice, one of these coin shops. Gonna, start collecting some coins, I think. It sounds like fun to me. And then I went out to a coffee shop because I had my backpack with my books and my planner and do some thinking. I had the afternoon. This is Friday. I'm gonna work a half a day on Friday, so I got a lot of time on Friday afternoon to do some thinking, do some planning. And anyway, I went to the coffee shop, got my coffee. I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden the police show up, an ambulance shows up. Somebody had a serious health problem, and those guys walked in. I didn't see, I didn't see it, right? I was sitting off to the side, and they walked in, and it was actually one of the workers behind the counter had collapsed. And so they got, the ambulance came, they wheeled in there. They were down behind the counter, and, I wasn't watching to see what they were doing, give them their space to do their work. And after a while, they wheeled the fellow out, and they had his shirt off, and they were pressing down on his heart, helping him breathe. They had an oxygen on him. You could kind of tell that he was not a lean fellow, because he had his shirt off, and of course and it turned out that this fellow was, I had just been to this coffee shop less than a week ago with my son. I had met my son there. We had a nice chat. The fellow had waited on us. I had coffee and a muffin. My son had a nice lunch. The guy waited on us, and because I saw that fellow, and I walked in, and I didn't go up to order. I went to the side booth and just got a cup of coffee at the kiosk, because I remember we deal, that it was very slow going before, and all the people got to wear masks, and it's irritating. But anyway, so they're wheeling him out, and they got him out in the ambulance, and the ambulance was there, and I suppose they were working on him. And I talked to a person or two in the store. Nobody really knew what was going on. People probably assumed he was a diabetic because he was, old and heavy. Could have had a heart attack. Could have just fainted. Maybe he'll be okay. Maybe he died, right? Maybe he died. I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. For me, for you, for us. One, take care of your health if you can, right? Make some improvements to your lifestyle if you can. Eat a little bit better, lose a little of that weight, get the right amount of get some exercise, reduce your stress level. It's sad that is at the end of the line for that fellow, that his last day on earth is working a minimum wage job at a coffee shop. You could imagine a fellow in his mid-60s who's having to, do that kind of work probably his whole life wasn't that abundant, right? He probably a certain amount of struggle, probably a lot of lack, right? And that could be the end of the line for that poor fellow. And whenever I think of stuff like this and the men dying at a fairly young age, he certainly wasn't in his 70s. I pretty much know that almost for a fact. Like I said, he waited on us, my son and I, the other day, and I would guess early 60s, but early 60s struggling, right? Struggling, having to cobble together some jobs here to try to make ends meet. And he should be applauded for helping himself make ends meet. But to me, it's still sad that could be the end of the line for him. And it's a great reminder for us men that you don't know how much time you have left, and you better get busy in the enjoyment of enjoying life and correcting things that you can correct. I've corrected most of my serious issues. I left my wife, as I detail in my book, Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man with a 3-step system, available on the IHappierMan.com website. I've left my wife, recreated my life as a happier man instead of a man under the thumb of a verbally abusive wife. But even after I left my wife, she continued to give me tremendous problems, and I had to do all kinds of other things after the divorce to try to get this woman out of my life, and I finally succeeded, and I'm so much happier for it. So to me, those were like two gigantic accomplishments in my life. The actual get enough courage to leave her and go through all the messiness of a divorce, and then the actual, all that extra work, the courts, the attorneys, the police, the social workers, this enormous amount of extra effort to get her just to get off of my back and leave me be. Right? That's, if you've got a bad person in your life, they think they have a right to continue to be bad to you. So two giant things for me. And then I've talked about on my website my other, the various moves I've made with jobs to get into the job of my dreams that I have now, and the effort I put in into continuing to guide my adult children and assist them and talk to them and love them and be there for them, along with my mom and family, and I'm just having a great time. I've shed all the ridiculous frustrations and notions that I had as a younger man. I've dealt with them, and I don't really, the only big problem I have now is just this weight problem, okay? I don't have an exercise problem because I'm very strong from my weight training. Got a lot of muscle, and I would be doing the weight training more if I didn't have these old injuries to work around. And I do, other things for an exercise format, and I feel good. But yeah, I do have that weight problem. So I'm not saying my life is just totally perfect, but let's just say from where it was to where it is, it's light years better. And I would suggest to you, if your life sucks in some form or fashion, that is these younger men in the 40s, 50s, 60s dying should be a wake-up call to you to get going and make the changes. If you don't make the changes now, that'll be your life. Going back to work at a minimum wage job somewhere to try to please a demanding wife who's wrecked your life. Right? You don't want that. You want to live a happier man life with work you enjoy, that pays you well, and the people you work with, the people you socialize with, the people you hang out with, you like, you enjoy them. They're not an energy drag. They don't come around and spend all your money. They make life nice for you. They make it rewarding. So you don't have that much time. I'm sorry to be the one to kind of remind you of this, but I feel like it's my responsibility to point out that fact, and that you need to get going and enjoy your life. And if you can't enjoy it, figure out why and what's going on and how to make the improvement. So give that idea some thought. All for now.